The year is 1837. London is a city of progress and shadows, powered by steam and lit by flickering gaslight. But beneath the veneer of civilization, an ancient fear begins to stir, whispered in hushed tones in darkened taverns and lonely alleyways. It starts as a ghost story, a local legend. People report a strange figure seen leaping across the rooftops of barns. Eyewitnesses, dismissed at first, speak of a tall, thin man with a terrifying visage and an impossible, bounding gait. These initial accounts are fragmented, confused. Was it a prankster, a madman, or something else entirely from the city's nightmares? The fog of London was a perfect cloak, concealing strange truths and allowing bizarre legends to take root in the public imagination. But soon, these whispers would turn into screams. The Phantom of the Night was about to make a very public appearance. A businesswoman returning home through a park would become the first widely reported subject of his strange attention. Her story, published in the papers, would ignite a panic that would grip the city for years to come. The legend of Spring-Heeled Jack had officially begun, emerging from the mist and into the terrified consciousness of Victorian England. One October evening, a servant named Mary Stevens was walking through Clapham Common after visiting her parents. Suddenly, a tall, strange figure leaped from a dark alley, blocking her path and causing immense fright. She described a horrifying being, not entirely human, who grabbed her arms with a powerful grip. His hands, she claimed, were not of flesh, but were cold and clammy as those of a corpse. The figure wore a tight-fitting garment and a strange helmet, his features obscured in the darkness. Most unsettling of all were his eyes, which she reported glowed with a fiery, reddish light. Before she could be further distressed, the screams of local residents caused the figure to retreat. But he did not simply run, he bounded away, clearing a 9-foot wall with a single, effortless leap. Mary was left physically unharmed, but the psychological impact of the encounter was profound, fueling the city's growing panic. The next day, the leaping phantom would appear again, and his reputation as a genuine menace would be sealed. The story of Mary Stevens spreads like wildfire. Newspapers, smelling a sensation, print every lurid detail. Headlines scream of the Spring-Heeled Jack, a name that will echo through history. The city is officially on edge. Fear becomes a tangible presence on the streets. People hurry home before dark, casting nervous glances into every shadow. The matter soon escalates beyond gossip. An anonymous letter from a concerned citizen reaches the Lord Mayor of London. The letter details the frightening encounters and begs for official intervention before someone is seriously harmed. Lord Mayor Sir John Cowan, though skeptical, makes the letter public, hoping to gather more information and quell the rumors. His plan backfires spectacularly. Instead of calming fears, the official acknowledgement legitimizes them. The panic intensifies. Now, it's not just a story, it's an official crisis. The Devil of London is real in the minds of its people. The city's authorities are now under immense pressure to capture this phantom, but they have no idea what they're looking for. Spring-Heeled Jack is no longer a mere curiosity. He has become a symbol of the city's deepest anxieties. As more reports pour in, a composite sketch of the entity begins to form, each detail more bizarre than the last. He was consistently described as tall and thin, with an appearance many called gentlemanly, despite his terrifying actions. His face, however, was said to be hideous. Many witnesses use the word devil-like to describe his features. He was said to have pointed ears, a sharp nose, and glowing, malevolent eyes that burned in the dark. His clothing was just as strange. He wore what appeared to be a tight-fitting white garment resembling an oilskin. Over this, he wore a black cloak, and on his head, a helmet that resembled something from a bygone era. On his hands were the metallic claws that Mary Stevens had described, sharp and capable of tearing fabric. This combination of the demonic and the mechanical was deeply unsettling to the Victorian mind, a perversion of nature and industry. But his most defining characteristic was not his appearance but his uncanny ability to leap incredible heights and distances. This ability gave him his name and fueled the belief that he was not human at all. The legend of Spring-Heeled Jack was not confined to civilian encounters. The military would soon have its own story to tell. In 1877, decades after his first appearances, a sentry at the Aldershot Garrison noticed a strange sight. A peculiar figure, cloaked and moving with an odd, jerky motion, was approaching his post. The soldier issued a challenge but received no reply. The figure simply stopped and stared at him. As the soldier stood his ground, the figure delivered a sharp sound to his face, startling him. Other sentries, alerted by the commotion, rushed to the scene. What they saw next was impossible. The strange visitor bounded away, clearing impossible heights and disappearing into the night. The soldiers fired their rifles, but the shots had no effect. The figure vanished completely. This was no hysterical civilian report. This was a documented incident involving trained military personnel. The Aldershot incident proved that Spring-Heeled Jack, whatever he was not just a London phenomenon, and he was not fading away. With the city in a state of alarm, the hunt for Spring-Heeled Jack begins in earnest. The newly formed Metropolitan Police, along with local law enforcement, increase their patrols, especially in areas of recent sightings. But the public's faith in the authorities is wavering. Many feel they must take matters into their own hands. Vigilante groups form across London, comprised of ordinary men armed with whatever they can find. They patrol their neighborhoods, determined to protect their families and unmask the fiend terrorizing their city. The nights in London become even more tense. Every shadow could be Jack, every noise, his approach. This atmosphere of fear and suspicion leads to several cases of mistaken identity, with innocent men being accosted. Despite the massive citywide manhunt, Spring-Heeled Jack remains elusive, always one step ahead. He seems to toy with his pursuers, appearing in one part of the city only to vanish and reappear miles away. The hunt for Jack only adds to his legend, transforming him from a simple bogeyman into an almost supernatural trickster. As the mystery deepened, so did the speculation. Who or what was Spring-Heeled Jack? Theories abounded. One popular theory pointed to the idle rich. Could this be a cruel, elaborate prank by a bored nobleman? The finger was often pointed at the mad Marquis of Waterford, known for his wild bets and destructive behavior. Could a man with enough resources and a twisted sense of humor have engineered the entire affair with clever contraptions? Others believed the explanation was supernatural. Was Jack a demon, summoned from the depths to plague London? His fiery breath and devilish appearance certainly fit the description of a fiend from folklore. A more scientific theory suggested an escaped animal, perhaps a large ape or kangaroo from a private menagerie. The panic also spawned numerous copycats and hoaxes, further muddying the waters and making the truth harder to find. Every strange noise was attributed to Jack, and every tall man in a cloak was viewed with suspicion. Ultimately, none of the theories could fully account for all the facts, especially his incredible house-clearing leaps. Beyond his appearance, it was Spring-Heeled Jack's abilities that truly cemented his place in legend. His primary talent was, of course, his jump. Witnesses claimed he could leap over 9-foot walls with ease. In some accounts, he didn't just clear walls, he bounded onto the roofs of 3-story houses from a standing start. This gravity-defying ability was the source of his name and the biggest argument against him being an ordinary man. But his talents didn't end there. In one famous encounter, he cornered 2 young women, Jane Alsop and her sister. When Jane approached, the figure reportedly vented blue and white flames from his mouth directly into her face. This bizarre pyrotechnic ability added a new layer of terror and suggested a chemical or mechanical apparatus. He was also unnaturally strong, able to hold people with an iron grip and tear through their clothing with his claws. Furthermore, he seemed impervious to harm. In the Aldershot incident, bullets had no apparent effect on him. Jumping, fire-breathing, and invulnerability. The legend of Spring-Heeled Jack was a catalog of the impossible made real. For decades, Spring-Heeled Jack was London's own private monster, a product of its foggy streets and urban anxieties. But as time went on, the strange reports began to surface far beyond the capital's limits. The phenomenon spread across England. Sightings were reported from Sheffield to Liverpool, each with familiar, terrifying details. In the Midlands, he was known as the Park Ghost, seen leaping over fences and frightening locals. The Aldershot incident in 1877 confirmed his presence in the South, far from his original haunting grounds. This geographical spread made the prankster theory less likely. It would require a conspiracy of impossible scale. Spring-Heeled Jack had evolved from a local terror into a piece of national folklore, a wandering bogeyman. He became a fixture in penny dreadfuls, cheap, sensational novels that thrilled the working classes. His story was adapted for the stage, transforming the terrifying specter into a character of popular entertainment. The real-life terror was slowly being replaced by a fictional character, but the original mystery remained unsolved. The last credible sighting of Spring-Heeled Jack occurred in Liverpool in 1904 on the rooftop of a church. After nearly 70 years of terrifying the public, the strange appearances simply stopped. There was no capture, no confession, no explanation. Spring-Heeled Jack just vanished as mysteriously as he had arrived. He left behind a legacy of fear, wonder, and a puzzle that has fascinated historians and enthusiasts for over a century. Was he a prankster with remarkable athletic ability and advanced gadgets, or something far stranger? Could he have been a case of mass hysteria, a shared nightmare born from the dark, industrializing world? Some have even proposed an extraterrestrial origin, an alien observer with misunderstood technology and intentions. The truth is, we will never know. Spring-heeled Jack exists now only in the pages of history and folklore. He remains a perfect mystery, a monster born of a specific time and place, forever leaping through the shadows of our imagination. A terrifying figure who could, for a time, defy the laws of man and physics, and even jump clean over a house.